Gentlemen, listen carefully because what I'm about to share with you could save your marriage, restore your confidence, and give you back the energy you thought was gone forever. Your body feels heavy, your drive has faded, and when the moment calls for action, nothing happens. It's like your energy, your confidence, even your manhood itself have quietly slipped away. You might think that's just the price of turning 60, but what if it isn't? If your bedroom feels empty, if your stamina can't keep up, and if your muscles no longer respond the way they used to, it may not be your age holding you back. It could be something far simpler and far more fixable. Because when three key vitamins fall dangerously short, everything from your circulation to your testosterone to your energy production can collapse like a house of cards. My name is Dr. James Whitaker, and I'm a practicing urologist with over 25 years of experience helping men over 60 restore their vitality, performance, and sexual confidence. Today, I'm here to tell you that the secret to regaining your power isn't hidden in some expensive prescription. It's likely sitting right in your kitchen cabinet. In the next 25 minutes, I'll show you the three essential vitamins every man over 60 must know about. These vitamins help fuel natural erections, keep testosterone working the way it should, and revive the spark that makes you feel fully alive again. But before you think about grabbing a cup of coffee and walking away, I'm also going to reveal a dangerous mistake that 90% of men make with these vitamins. A mistake that could sabotage every effort you make to feel better. You'll want to stay tuned because fixing this one mistake can change everything for you, starting tonight. If you care about reclaiming your energy, your performance, and your vitality, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. And tell me below if this hits home for you. Type 1 in the comments if you're ready to fight back against declining vitality. If you're not sure yet, type 0 and let me know how I can better help you. Let's get straight to it, starting with the first vitamin that could change your life forever. Vitamin D. The sunshine. Vitamin that resurrects dead bedrooms. Let me tell you about Frank, a 63-year-old retired police officer who walked into my clinic 6 months ago looking like a broken man. This was a guy who had chased down criminals, commanded respect, and protected his community for over 30 years. But now he could barely look me in the eye. "Doc," Frank said, his voice barely above a whisper, "I feel like I'm disappointing my wife every single night. We've been married 35 years, and for the past 3 years, I can't, nothing works down there anymore. I'm tired all the time, I have no motivation, and honestly, I'm starting to think she'd be better off without me." Frank's story broke my heart because I see it every single day. Strong, capable men reduced to shadows of themselves, convinced that their declining performance is just an inevitable part of aging. But here's what Frank didn't know, and what most men over 60 don't realize. His problem wasn't age. It was a severe vitamin D deficiency that was quietly destroying his masculine vitality from the inside out. You see, vitamin D isn't just about bone health like your doctor probably told you. It's actually a hormone precursor that directly controls testosterone production, blood flow, and energy levels in men. When your vitamin D drops below optimal levels, it's like someone turned off the power switch to your manhood. Here's the shocking reality. Over 80% of men over 60 are vitamin D deficient, and most don't even know it. The standard blood test your doctor runs looks for levels above 30 or ml, but recent research shows that for optimal male performance, you need levels between 50, 80, and 90 ml. Think about it. How much time do you spend outdoors without a shirt on? If you're like most men over 60, probably not much. You're either working indoors, or when you do go outside, you're covered up or wearing sunscreen. Your body simply can't produce enough vitamin D from the limited sun exposure you're getting. But here's where it gets really interesting. Vitamin D directly impacts your Leydig cells, the cells in your testicles responsible for testosterone production. When vitamin D is low, these cells can't function properly, leading to a cascade of problems: low testosterone, poor circulation, reduced energy, and yes, erectile dysfunction. A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine followed 3,400 men over 5 years. The men with vitamin D levels above 50 ng/ml had testosterone levels that were, on average, 25% higher than men with deficient levels. But more importantly, They reported significantly better sexual function, more energy, and greater overall life satisfaction. Let me tell you what happened to Frank after we addressed his vitamin D deficiency. His initial blood test showed a level of just 18 grml, severely deficient. I immediately started him on 5,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily, along with vitamin K2 for proper absorption. Within 6 weeks, Frank's energy began to return. By 3 months, his testosterone had increased by 200 points, and his vitamin D level had reached 65 ngoml. But the real transformation happened in month 4. Frank called my office, and I could hear the smile in his voice. "Doc, I feel like I'm 40 again. My wife and I, well, let's just say we're both very happy. But it's not just that. I have energy to work in my garage, I'm sleeping better, and I actually want to do things again. You gave me my life back." But vitamin D does so much more than just boost testosterone. It improves insulin sensitivity, which means better blood sugar control and more stable energy throughout the day. It strengthens your immune system, protecting you from infections that can sap your vitality. It supports cardiovascular health by improving the function of your blood vessel walls, leading to better circulation everywhere, including where it matters most for intimate moments. Vitamin D also plays a crucial role in muscle protein synthesis. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass, but adequate vitamin D levels help preserve and even build lean muscle tissue. This isn't just about looking good. Muscle tissue is metabolically active and directly contributes to higher testosterone levels and better overall energy. Now, here's the critical part that most men get wrong. Not all vitamin D supplements are created equal. You need vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, not vitamin D2. D3 is the same form your body produces from sunlight and is far more effective at raising blood levels. For most men over 60, I recommend starting with 4,000–5,000 IU daily, taken with a meal that contains some fat for better absorption. And here's a secret most doctors won't tell you. You should also take vitamin K2, about 100–200 mg, along with your vitamin D. K2 ensures that the calcium absorption improved by vitamin D goes to your bones and teeth, not your arteries. But vitamin D is just the foundation. There's a second vitamin that works synergistically with vitamin D to restore your masculine power, and when men are deficient in this one, even optimal vitamin D levels can't save them. Vitamin B12, the energy commander that awakens your inner warrior. Let me introduce you to Richard, a 59-year-old accountant who came to see me not because of sexual problems, but because he was convinced he was developing early dementia. Richard had always been sharp as a tack. He could calculate complex financial projections in his head and remember every detail of his clients' portfolios. But over the past year, his mental fog had become so severe that he was making mistakes at work and forgetting important conversations with his wife. "Dr. Whitaker," Richard told me during our consultation, "I can't concentrate for more than 10 minutes. I feel exhausted even after a full night's sleep. And to be honest, my wife and I haven't been intimate in months because I just don't have the energy or desire anymore. I'm scared I'm losing my mind." What Richard didn't know was that his symptoms weren't signs of dementia. They were classic indicators of severe vitamin B12 deficiency. And this deficiency was quietly sabotaging not just his mental clarity, but his sexual health, energy levels, and overall masculine vitality. Here's the shocking truth about B12. As we age, our ability to absorb this crucial vitamin plummets dramatically. After age 50, stomach acid production decreases significantly, and stomach acid is essential for separating B12 from the proteins in food. Additionally, many men over 60 take acid-blocking medications for heartburn or reflux, which further reduces B12 absorption. The result? Even if you're eating B12-rich foods like meat, fish, and dairy, your body may only be absorbing a fraction of what you need. Studies show that up to 43% of adults over 60 have inadequate B12 levels, but the symptoms develop so gradually that most men blame them on just getting older. But B12 isn't just important for your brain. It's absolutely critical for sexual function and energy production. B12 is required for the formation of red blood cells, which carry oxygen to every tissue in your body. When you're B12 deficient, your tissues literally can't get enough oxygen to function properly. This is especially problematic for erectile function. Strong, lasting erections require robust blood flow and healthy blood vessels. When your red blood cells can't carry adequate oxygen due to B12 deficiency, the delicate tissues involved in sexual response simply can't perform. B12 also plays a direct role in energy production at the cellular level. It's essential for converting the food you eat into usable energy, ATP, in your mitochondria, the powerhouses of your cells. When B12 is low, it's like trying to run a high-performance engine with watered-down fuel. Everything slows down: your energy, your stamina, your drive, and yes, your sexual performance. But here's where it gets really interesting. B12 is also crucial for the production of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which directly affect mood, motivation, and sexual desire. Low B12 doesn't just make you tired, it can actually kill your libido by disrupting the brain chemicals that create sexual appetite and pleasure. A fascinating study published in the International Journal of Impotence Research found that men with erectile dysfunction were significantly more likely to have low B12 levels than men with normal sexual function. When these men were given high-dose B12 supplements for 12 weeks, 68% reported significant improvement in their erectile function scores. Now let me tell you what happened when we addressed Richard's B12 deficiency. His blood test revealed a B12 level of just 180 pg/ml. Technically normal, according to standard reference ranges, but far too low for optimal health. Here's something most doctors don't know. The reference range for B12 was established decades ago and is based on preventing pernicious anemia, not optimizing health and vitality. For optimal energy, mental clarity, and sexual function, B12 levels should be above 500 pg/ml, with many experts recommending levels between 800 to 1200 pg/ml for men over 60. I started Richard on sublingual, under the tongue, B12 methylcobalamin, 2000 mcg daily. Sublingual B12 bypasses the digestive system entirely and is absorbed directly into the bloodstream through the tissues under the tongue. This is crucial for men over 60 who may have absorption problems. The transformation was remarkable. Within 2 weeks, Richard reported that his mental fog was lifting. By 6 weeks, his energy levels had dramatically improved, and he was sleeping more soundly. At the 3-month mark, Richard's wife called to thank me personally. "Doctor, I have my husband back," she said. "He's sharp, energetic, and we're connecting again in ways we haven't in years. It's like he's 10 years younger." But here's the critical point about B12 supplementation that could make or break your results. There are several forms of B12, and most supplements contain the wrong type. Cyanocobalamin is the cheapest and most common form found in multivitamins, but it's synthetic and must be converted by your liver before your body can use it. The form you want is methylcobalamin, the active, ready-to-use form that your body recognizes immediately. Methylcobalamin is especially important for nerve function and energy production, making it superior for addressing the symptoms that matter most to men over 60. For optimal results, I recommend 1,000–2,000 mcg of sublingual methylcobalamin daily, taken on an empty stomach for best absorption. Some men with severe deficiency may benefit from even higher doses initially, but this should be done under medical supervision. Richard's story illustrates something crucial. B12 deficiency symptoms develop so gradually that most men adapt to feeling tired, foggy, and uninterested in sex, thinking it's just part of aging. But when you restore optimal B12 levels, the transformation can be dramatic and life-changing. Now, while vitamin D rebuilds your hormonal foundation and B12 restores your energy and mental clarity, there's a third vitamin that ties everything together, one that most men have never heard of, but could be the missing piece that unlocks your full masculine potential. Vitamin K2, the master regulator that optimizes everything else. I want to tell you about Thomas, a 68-year-old retired military officer who had been following my vitamin D and B12 protocol for 4 months with good results. His energy was better, his mood had improved, and his relationship with his wife was getting back on track. But Thomas was frustrated because he felt like he had plateaued. "Dr. Whitaker," Thomas said during his follow-up appointment, "I feel better than I did 6 months ago, but I'm still not where I want to be. My testosterone came up some, but it's still on the lower end of normal. And while things are better in the bedroom, I know I'm capable of more. Is there something else I should be doing? That's when I introduced Thomas to the vitamin that most doctors, even most urologists, know almost nothing about. Vitamin K2. And the results were so dramatic that Thomas's case became one of my most compelling success stories. Vitamin K2 is perhaps the most underappreciated nutrient for men's health. Unlike vitamin K1, which is involved in blood clotting, K2 has entirely different functions in the body. It's what's called a vitamin activator. It doesn't work alone, but it makes other vitamins and minerals work exponentially better. Here's why K2 is absolutely crucial for men over 60. It's the master regulator of calcium in your body. Now you might be thinking, I don't care about calcium, I care about my energy and performance. But stay with me, because this is where it gets fascinating. When you take vitamin D, your body absorbs more calcium from food. That's good for your bones, but here's the problem. Without adequate K2, that extra calcium doesn't necessarily go to your bones. Instead, it can end up in your arteries, creating plaque and reducing blood flow. And reduced blood flow means reduced performance in every area that matters to men. But K2 acts like a traffic director for calcium. It activates proteins called osteocalcin and matrix gallet protein, MGP, that direct calcium to your bones and teeth while keeping it out of your soft tissues and arteries. The result? Stronger bones and cleaner arteries with better blood flow. A landmark study called the Rotterdam Study followed over 4,800 men for 10 years. The men with the highest K2 intake had a 52% lower risk of severe arterial calcification and a 41% lower risk of heart disease compared to men with the lowest intake. But here's what's really interesting for our purposes. The men with higher K2 levels also reported better energy, improved cognitive function, and yes, better sexual health. But K2's benefits for masculine vitality go far beyond just directing calcium. Recent research has shown that K2 plays a direct role in testosterone production. It activates enzymes in the testicles that are involved in steroid hormone synthesis, essentially helping your body produce testosterone more efficiently. A groundbreaking Japanese study found that men who supplemented with K2 for 8 weeks experienced an average increase in testosterone of 70% compared to placebo. Even more impressive, their luteinizing hormone, LH, levels increased by 60%. LH is the hormone that signals your testicles to produce testosterone, so higher LH means your body is naturally ramping up its own testosterone production. K2 also works synergistically with vitamin D to improve insulin sensitivity and glucose metabolism. Better blood sugar control means more stable energy throughout the day and reduced risk of diabetes-related erectile dysfunction. Many men don't realize that diabetes is one of the leading causes of sexual problems in men over 60, but optimizing K2 and vitamin D together can help prevent and even reverse insulin resistance. Now here's where Thomas's story gets really interesting. After adding K2 to his protocol, his results accelerated dramatically. I started him on 200 mcg of K2, MK7 form daily, taken with his vitamin D. Within 6 weeks, Thomas reported significant improvements in energy and mental clarity. His morning erections, which had been absent for over 2 years, began returning. By 3 months, his testosterone had increased another 150 points, putting him in the upper normal range for the first time in years. But the most dramatic change was in his cardiovascular health. Thomas had a coronary calcium scan before starting K2 that showed moderate arterial calcification. A follow-up scan 1 year later showed that his calcium score had actually decreased, something that's extremely rare and indicates that the K2 was actively removing calcium deposits from his arteries. Dr. Whitaker, Thomas told me at his 1 year follow-up, I feel better now at 69 than I did at 60. My wife says I'm more energetic, more confident, and more passionate than I've been in years. And my cardiologist can't believe how much my heart health has improved. But here's the critical point about K2 that most men get wrong. There are 2 main forms of K2, and they're not interchangeable. MK4 is the form found in animal products and has a very short half-life in the body. MK7 is the form found in fermented foods and supplements, and it stays active in your body much longer. For cardiovascular health and testosterone support, MK7 is superior. I recommend 100-200 mcg of MK7 daily, taken with vitamin D and a meal containing some fat for optimal absorption. The other mistake men make is thinking they can get enough K2 from food alone. Unless you're eating large amounts of fermented foods like natto, fermented soybeans, or grass-fed organ meats regularly, you're probably not getting nearly enough K2 for optimal health. Thomas's transformation illustrates something crucial. These three vitamins don't just work individually, they work together synergistically to create a foundation for masculine vitality that's greater than the sum of its parts. The synergistic power, why combining all three changes everything. Now that you understand how each of these vitamins works individually, let me explain why combining them creates results that seem almost miraculous to men who have been struggling with declining vitality. When you take vitamin D alone, you'll see some improvements in testosterone and energy. When you add B12, you'll get better results because your body can actually utilize the hormones and energy more effectively. But when you add K2 to the mix, something remarkable happens. The three vitamins work together to create a cascade of improvements throughout your entire body. Here's how the synergy works. Vitamin D increases testosterone production and improves insulin sensitivity. B12 ensures that your cells can actually use that energy and your brain can properly regulate hormone production. K2 directs nutrients where they need to go, keeps your arteries clean for optimal blood flow, and amplifies testosterone production even further. The result is that each vitamin makes the others work better. Vitamin D absorption is improved when B12 levels are optimal. K2 prevents the arterial calcification that can occur with vitamin D supplementation. B12 is better utilized when vitamin D and K2 are supporting overall metabolic health. I've seen this synergy create transformations that honestly shocked me early in my career. Men who had been struggling with fatigue, brain fog, and sexual dysfunction for years suddenly felt like they had turned back the clock by a decade or more. But here's where most men sabotage their results, and why I need to share two critical mistakes that could waste your time, money, and hope. Mistake number one, taking the wrong forms at the wrong times. Let me tell you about William, a 64-year-old engineer who spent 6 months and over $300 on supplements with almost no results. William was methodical and disciplined. He researched extensively and took his vitamins religiously every single day. But he made crucial mistakes that virtually guaranteed failure. First, William bought the cheapest forms of each vitamin he could find. His vitamin D was D2 instead of D3. His B12 was cyanocobalamin instead of methylcobalamin. His K2 was MK4 instead of MK7. Each of these choices dramatically reduced the effectiveness of his supplementation. Second, William took all his vitamins at once with his morning coffee. The caffeine interfered with B12 absorption. He wasn't getting any fat with his fat-soluble vitamins, D and K2, and he was overwhelming his system with nutrients that compete for absorption. Third, William was taking doses that were too low to make a difference. His vitamin D was only 1,000 IU. Most men over 60 need 4,000, 5,000 IU. His B12 was 100 mcg, should be 1,000, 2,000 mcg, and his K2 was only 45 mcg, should be 100, 200 mcg. The result? After 6 months, William's blood work showed minimal improvement, his symptoms were unchanged, and he was ready to give up on supplements entirely. When William came to see me, we completely overhauled his protocol. Here's what we changed. Vitamin D3, 5,000 IU daily, taken with dinner, which includes healthy fats for absorption. Methylcobalamin, B12, 2,000 mcg sublingual, taken on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. Vitamin K2 MK7, 200 mcg, taken with the vitamin D at dinner. We also added magnesium glycinate, 400 milliliters with dinner, because magnesium is required for vitamin D metabolism, and most men over 60 are deficient. The transformation was remarkable. Within 8 weeks, William's energy had dramatically improved. His mental clarity was better than it had been in years, and at the 4-month mark, his testosterone had increased by over 200 points. Dr. Whitaker, William told me, I can't believe that such simple changes made such a huge difference. I feel like I wasted 6 months, but I'm just grateful I found the right approach. Mistake number two, inconsistency and impatience. The second mistake that sabotages results is what I call the quick fix mentality. Men try the protocol for a few weeks, don't see dramatic changes, and either quit or start changing things constantly. Let me be clear, these vitamins are not drugs. They don't work overnight. You're correcting deficiencies that may have been building for years or even decades. Your body needs time to restore optimal levels, repair damage, and rebuild systems that have been operating suboptimally. Here's the realistic timeline for results. Weeks 1 to 2. You may notice slightly better sleep and mood as B12 levels begin to improve. Weeks 3 or 6, energy levels start to improve more noticeably. Mental clarity begins to sharpen. Some men start experiencing morning erections again. Week 7-12. This is where the real transformation happens. Testosterone levels are rising, cardiovascular health is improving, and sexual function is returning. Months 4-6, full optimization. Most men report feeling better than they have in years with sustained energy, improved sexual function, and overall vitality. The key is consistency. Your body needs these nutrients every single day to maintain optimal function. Missing doses regularly will slow your progress significantly. I recommend setting up a simple system. Use a pill organizer, set phone reminders, and link your supplement routine to established habits like meals or brushing your teeth. The complete protocol, your roadmap to renewed vitality, based on my 25 years of experience helping men over 60 reclaim their vitality, here's the exact protocol I recommend. Morning on empty stomach, methylcobalamin, B12, 2000 mcg sublingual. Wait 30 minutes before eating with dinner, with healthy fats. Vitamin D3, 5000 niacin IU, vitamin K2, MK7, 200 mcg magnesium. Glycinate, 400 mg. Additional recommendations: get blood work done at baseline and again at 3 months to track progress. Target ranges: vitamin D 50-80 ml, B12 above 800 pgml. Ensure you're getting adequate healthy fats, olive oil, avocados, nuts, for fat-soluble vitamin absorption. Stay consistent for at least 6 months to see full benefits. Important safety notes: if you're taking blood thinners, consult your doctor before starting K2. If you have kidney disease, work with your doctor on appropriate vitamin D dosing. These supplements are generally very safe, but it's always wise to inform your healthcare provider about what you're taking. The transformation awaits. Your decision point. Gentlemen, I've shared with you the exact protocol that has transformed the lives of hundreds of men in my practice. Men who walked into my office feeling defeated, exhausted, and convinced their best days were behind them. Men who left feeling energized, confident, and excited about their future. The science is clear. The results speak for themselves. The choice is now yours. You can continue accepting that declining energy, fading performance, and lost confidence are just inevitable parts of aging. You can keep hoping that things will somehow get better on their own, or you can take action today and start the journey back to the man you know you can be. These 3 vitamins, vitamin D3, methylcobalamin B12, and vitamin K2, are not magic bullets. They won't work overnight. But if you commit to the protocol I've outlined, if you stay consistent and patient, I'm confident that in 6 months, you'll be amazed at how much better you feel. Your wife will notice the change in your energy and confidence. Your friends will ask what you're doing differently. And most importantly, you'll feel like yourself again, energetic, capable, and proud of the man you see in the mirror. Remember Frank, the retired police officer who couldn't look me in the eye? He's now 64, more active than he's been in years, and recently told me that he and his wife are planning a European vacation, something he wouldn't have had the energy or confidence to do a year ago. Remember Richard, the accountant who thought he was developing dementia? His mental clarity is now sharper than it was in his 50s, and he recently started a consulting business because he has the energy and drive to take on new challenges. Remember Thomas, the military officer who felt like he had plateaued? At 69, he's in the best shape of his life and recently completed a half marathon with his son. These men aren't special. They're not genetically gifted. They simply corrected nutritional deficiencies that were holding them back from their full potential. And you can do the same. Taking action. Your next steps. If you're ready to reclaim your vitality, Here's what I want you to do. First, if this information has been helpful, please hit the like button and share it with other men who might be struggling. Too many men suffer in silence because they're embarrassed or think decline is inevitable. Your sharing could literally change someone's life. Second, leave a comment below and let me know which vitamin deficiency you think might be affecting you most. Are you dealing with low energy that might be B12 deficiency? Sexual problems that could be related to low vitamin D? Or cardiovascular issues that K2 might help? I read every comment and often create follow-up videos based on your questions. Third, subscribe to the American Urologist channel and hit the notification bell. I regularly share advanced protocols and cutting-edge research about men's health that you won't hear from mainstream medicine. Next week, I'll be discussing the 5 foods that are silently destroying testosterone in men over 60. Foods that are probably in your kitchen right now. Finally, take action. Don't let this be just another video you watched and forgot about. Your health is your most valuable asset, and investing in it will pay dividends in every area of your life. Start with getting quality forms of these 3 vitamins. Be patient with the process. Stay consistent, and prepare to be amazed at how much better you can feel. Remember, gentlemen, age is just a number. Vitality is a choice, and you have the power to make that choice starting today. This is Dr. James Whitaker reminding you that your best years don't have to be behind you. With the right knowledge and the right action, they can still be ahead of you. Until next time, take care of yourself. You're worth it.